Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a bit of a temperature check on a detachment. So, experimental prototype Cadre hasn't been doing great, and that's kind of how Tau has been doing overall. Since its release, there's only been one tournament top that I see, and to that point, uh, even bonus credit to Riley because their list has something that I've wondered for a while now. How come Tal isn't doing this more often? Um, but we'll come to that in a second. First off, experimental prototype Cadre is the detachment that I would have hoped would fix some of Tao's issues. You get more range on your weapons. That's not really where things lie. It's a lot of the AP and the damage output and kind of number of shots looking at everything. Uh, Amongst other issues, I know that Tau players are kind of sick of taking three squads of stealth shoots, and I do wonder if you need to. Like, that's a why are you? Because I don't know the answer, right? That's like I look at some of our list over here in Tyrannage, and it's not a fair comparison because Tyrannage we score points. That's kind of our thing. But even then, I'm like, hey guys, we don't need like three lictors. And then, sure enough, you take out some lictors and still score fine. So I wonder what that would be for Tau, if there is a unit that you just slot in and effectively get the same benefit of what you would have had with battle shoots, but you know, better than just being battle shoots, stealth battle shoots that is. So I don't know what that might look like for you all, but I do have several tabs because I want to talk about several things. The enhancements for experimental prototype Cadre is unfortunate. I don't know why they selected it to be one. This is another example to me that if GW just removed like a word or two, this would be fine. If you just said, if you got out of select one for this, air bursting fragmentation projectors equipped by the unit. Equipped by the unit. Get this? Now we're talking on some serious enhancement things. So I think experimental prototype Cadre can be fixed. I don't know if they will. Let's see. We are now halfway to the next slate. No, we're not. It came out in March. So there's a bit. We got like 2 months. But I don't know. I feel like there's changes to be made here to just make it just better for what you're spending 15, 20, 10, 25 points on, right? The stratagems I think are kind of sick. I think there's room for this here, right? To just still be explored. So I don't know if I have any notes on that I'm like, well, that's obviously a flaw. But coming back to things and seeing some things play out, experimental kinda needs help, but going back over here to what we have seen with the result with Riley, I hope that I'm saying your name correctly. If somebody finds this and knows that I'm not, please let me know. Uh, the thing that I've wondered why Tau aren't doing this in more lists is Farsight and Shadowshun into the same list. Why would you do that? For the same reason that Ultramarines are taking Calgar and Gilliman. You want CP manipulation, and it's kind of just in your face that you can do that here, and a little bit more so. I had a bit of a laugh because Tal has a, quite a few ways to do that, and we're going to talk about that. That I just don't know if you all don't genuinely if the stratagems aren't worth it enough to make that the core of your list. Now, it should be noted, it's not nearly as good as Gorillaman and Calgar. It's not as good as Rubuti and Calgussi. It's not. But it's also kind of cheaper. So take with that what you will. But going on to that, why do I say that you have Rabute and Calgar? You have Shadowsun, Farsight, Shadow Sun, if you select a friendly Tau Empire unit within 6 inches of the bearer, each time you select that unit as the target of a stratagem, roll 1d6. On a 5-up, you gain 1 CP. Now, that's not necessarily the strongest thing. It is 100 points, as well as still having Hero of the Empire, while a friendly Tau Empire unit is within 6 inches of this model. Each time a model in that unit makes a ranged attack, reroll a hit roll of 1. Alright, so that's the part that you're taking Shadow Sun for, besides the fact that she's infiltrating Lone Up with stealth and an invuln, 6 wounds T4, but over here you can regenerate that, which is kind of cool with automated repair drones. That'd be I was coming from a Tyrannid player perspective of, trying to regenerate Death Leaper and Assimilation Swarm. There's some more hoops, uh, quite a few more hoops than just doing it over here. But it's interesting, right? It's not the worst thing ever, but the better application of this, I would assume, is the Ghost Kill. So it's not completely a thing that you should be relying on at all. It's just interesting to say you can do it. And then over here with Farsight, well, this model is leading, Pure Tide's teaching. Once per battle round, you can target this model's unit with a stratagem if it does reduce the cost of that stratagem by 1. Now, I do want to note something interesting that you just have to target, so you don't even have to spend it. If everything that you target does it for free, you have a chance of getting 1 CP. Now, again, it's not the strongest thing. It's probably you have a 33% chance of getting that command point via Shadow Sun. So I'm not sitting here saying like, oh my gosh, it's just as strong as Rabute and Calgar. It's just I'm surprised that we haven't seen this combination and list more often, just so you can have more CP free. Because it'll happen eventually, right? Okay, it might. Some people roll terribly unlucky, but notice that. But it doesn't necessarily stop there. With Tau, uh, looking at now, Tau have finally woken up to bringing Kroot in some capacity. You have War Shapers that are captains for Kroot. War Leader, once per battle round, 1 unit from your army with this ability can use it when its unit is targeted with a stratagem, reduce the cost of the stratagem by 1 CP. Alright? So, this is a different name than Farsight, so you can use both of them. Now we're already talking about including at least 3 units. But, 2 of those units doing whatever they want for essentially free over here, because everything's 1 CP, I'd say fuck it, fine. Now, Riley's list does not have War Shaper, right? Doesn't have it, and I'm not saying that it needs it. I'm just saying that it's interesting that you have mechanics to play around with, and I do like Riley's list because we have delved into some Kroot, alright? And then what I'm learning, well, what I've seen for a while, but truly the glue on it is Stealth Battlesuits and Vestige Stingwings for you Tau players over there. And I wonder when it doesn't become that, but I've already said that. Past that, I think that even more so over here in Experimental Prototype Cadre, you have something interesting specifically with the War Shaper and the Farstalkers. Now, they infiltrate, they have stealth. At the start of the battle, select 1 unit from your opponent's army. Each time a model in that unit makes an attack that targets that unit, that attack makes a model in this unit makes an attack that targets that unit. That attack has lethal hits and precision. You can also get ignores cover. Now, for 85 points, 12 models, then another 50 for the War Shaper to make it free. That's pretty neat. Now, you can get shot, right? That can still happen to you. But with stealth -1 to hit, that's a little bit cool. And you screen out somewhere on the board, but the thing that I want to think about maybe looking at is lethal sustained for free in the opening round, or lethal. And here's the thing, you can't stack these together, experimental ammunition and threat assessment analyzer. You can't stack these on the units. They made sure you can't do that. But if you were in a weird funky world where you take 2 packages of Firestalkers with War Shapers, one gets lethal hits with bonus AP, maybe you want to do bonus strength, but risk the hazardous, and one gets sustained and lethals without needing to risk the hazardous. I'd say that's an interesting thing to look into for, let's see, uh, 170, 270 points. Um, mm, maybe. You also get, what, 26 models out of it? 26 models of Infiltrate. I don't know. I think it's worth investigating. That's kind of what this video, well, that's really what this video is going to be. Maybe investigation, and that's what I really try to stress in a lot of my videos is investigating when shit isn't working. If the thing you're already doing isn't quite yielding results, and again, this isn't talking about Riley whatsoever. Uh, Yielded results, but for everybody else that's struggling with uh experimental prototype Cadre, maybe you start to just get funky with it, and sometimes funky things lead to good results that nobody expects. So that's the thing on maybe include some Far Stalkers and War Shapers. I just think there's at least an angle or two there. Then I also want to talk about how you have Ethereals. At the end of your command phase, roll 1d6. On a 4 up, you gain 1 command point. Again, I don't think that this is the end all be all, but you have a cheap little person that you can include in your list or not that might get you some command points. I don't think that you make an entire Hero Hammer list out of Experimental Prototype, but I'm just saying I'm surprised that I don't see more inclusions to try to get command points out of Tau. That's all to say. So, you have Ethereals. I think the one that if I, as a non-Tau player, looking at things that are going on, would to make a hey, why don't you try to get funky with it recommendation? Farsight, Warshaper, Shadow Sun, try it, plug it, play it, see what happens. You all are finally taking Kroot, so that learning steps, right? Past that, Commander and Cold Star Battlesuit seems like it should be more of an inclusion to me. While this model is leading the unit, models in that unit have a move characteristic of 12 inches, and ranged weapons equipped by models in the unit have assault. I I think I was with some other people where you kind of read Neural Web System Jammer, and in your head it's like, oh yeah, this is crisis suits, right? But I think this being so meh is like, hey, maybe only one unit of crisis battle suits, like maybe only one. Make it a little bit better with a um commander, but maybe only one. They're okay enough, I guess. 130, 110, and I'm not going to the other one because, like, do you really need it? But fire knives, you can get reroll hit rolls of one, which is pretty good when you have access to lethal sustained or both if you want to take the chance on the hazardous. And you have 4 wound model, so I mean, fuck it. And Star Scythe, where you can increase the AP by 1, which is good when you can increase the AP again. And also, both of those things, vice versa. Increasing AP by 1 is good when you can get sustained lethal, and increasing AP is good when you can get rerolls um, of 1. So, I don't know. I'm just saying. I think I've lost faith in crisis suits from what I see other people doing with crisis suits. Not necessarily like, not saying it's a pilot issue, but I think crisis suits keep letting everybody down. So I don't know, maybe not on the crisis suits. Literally just food for thought. If you die by your fire suit, your crisis battle suits, let me know in the comments that this is all just food for thought. Then going past that, the ghost kill. I would have liked the ghost kill to be better in this list. I see that they're taken, and I'm not saying that you need to stop taking them. I just wish that they had more for you to offer. I wish that there was something that increased the attacks for you or something over here. Um, it is 160 points for something that can, again, infiltrate and loan up and then be tough to remove. Maybe. Uh, I don't know. I just feel like the ghost kill is lacking overall. Like, I know it's always frustrating to try to punch through it, but I think that's maybe where that ends, especially in current 40k. I think the ghost kill just isn't it anymore. I think we've kind of moved past it being the bee's knees. Now, making it so that it can regenerate after you've gotten through the stealth drones and the lone op and the stealth, yeah, that's pretty cool. But I think you maybe do it one time and call it a day. Now, coming to the other one that has kind of impressed me in other lists, the Riptide. Maybe it's more the Riptide time. I, to the same effect, think that they should always do more than they do. But 2 up, 4 up, 14 wounds, T9, right? Like, not great. But adding 6 inches to things like the heavy burst cannon, I know, just saying, moving, making it 42 inches is a little bit better. But more so for the twin fusion blaster and twin plasma rifle. Once you can make your Melta a little bit better, it's better. But yeah, I don't know if you need too much additional range. So here comes the funky part of the video, where I will ask you if you do something funky. And there's a chance that it's the thumbnail. Do you do the funky thing that you've done before this edition? Take things like tiger sharks. And yes, I say take things like tiger sharks because for 325 points, it is T11, 3 up save, 5 up invul, and 18 wounds with quite the array of weapons. And when you can now have a detachment that, unlike auxiliary cadre, well, technically you can still do this in auxiliary cadre, but there's less hoops to activate some of the things for experimental ammunition, threat assessment analyzer, and experimental weaponry, just as a Tau unit, Tau Empire unit. So now you have access to making the Tiger Shark pretty scary. If you give this thing sustained lethals and you're not taking the Swift Strike railguns, uh, hell, even if you're still taking them, fuck it, maybe it's AP -5. Good luck to somebody. But you know, if you give this entire loadout sustained or lethals, or maybe because the AP is surprisingly low, and you just bump it up by one, I think you still you start having an argument, and especially because it's aircraft, you get that angle, so you know there's the whole, oh well, I don't know if you have cover there, bud. So you know maybe you start blasting things off the table with Tiger Shark, and just maybe this could be an apology from GW for absolutely setting that marketing up with auxiliary CAD, where you bring your big shiny toys or whatever the hell they said, where it's just like, now why did you say that? Maybe you bring the tiger shark back out. Uh, I'm just saying, it's there. It seems it was good enough at one point. Now, uh, to the same point of, again, you don't have Rubute. You don't have the Rubute. Uh, who can now do +1 to wound oath on 2 targets, so yes, the Tiger Shark will be much more of a scary investment to do. But, that said, it is an aircraft, and do you now have a chance to make him terrified? Like, do you get to blast that unit off the field as soon as the Tiger Shark comes in? I don't know. And go into another one that will have weird angles because of how big it is. Cough, cough. Is this finally Stormsurge time? Now, I know the answer is probably no, right? I know the answer is probably no. 400 points for 20 wounds, but it does have a 2 up, 4 up. So, there's a chance. Maybe. I think I'd still place my bets more so on the Tiger Shark. But just saying, adding range to this, and that's the other thing, adding range to shit that already had diabolical angles, right? Adding range to this, yeah, I think there's a chance that you get to do some interesting things, especially when you can add AP or sustain lethal. If anything, I think you'd probably look to adding AP for the Tiger Shark and sustained lethals over here for the Stormsurge. That's a lot of blast. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And hell, maybe, just maybe, you take both of them. Now, obviously, probably don't do that. That's a lot of points investment, but it would be really fucking cool if anybody does it. Like, if anybody out here that has found this video, uh, makes a list that has Shadow Sun, Farsight, two War Shapers. I'm not keeping track of points, so just bear with me. Two Farstalker units, a Stormsurge, and a Tiger Shark, and just starts beating ass. Please let me know. Or if you don't beat ass, tell me if it was fun or not. Like, tell me what happens if you can do that. I just think, and I guess I should give my disclaimer here too, when it's not a tier in this video. My name is Mr. Monster, so yeah, I like the big things, and I can't lie. So I don't know. I just think it'd be interesting. Maybe run it back, see if it has any play, and see if this has any play now. So yeah, I'm sorry that experimental prototype Cadre has been kind of not amazing for you all, and I oh, and I guess Farsight needs a unit, so let's say Fire Knife. Nah, let's say Star Scythe. Um, and the Star Scythe unit, right? I'm sorry it's not great for you all, but it seems like that's kind of what's happened to Tau this edition overall. So it's like Tau needs kind of help, even when you all were terrorizing us with the Tiger Shark. You all didn't have that many people terrorizing us with it, so I don't think it needed to be as slapped as it was. But you know, hey, all that to say, experimental prototype. Maybe get experimental. Start experimenting. Yeah, let's say that that's the the title. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But hey, yeah. If you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me? Comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.